Let us pause for a moment for a short prayer.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who are present here today, that each one of us may be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We all ask of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Atin pong ilagay ang ating kanang kamay sa ating kaliwang dibdib.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, ewas ang sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang putok sa simoy at sa langit ng bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Okay, hello and good day everyone, and welcome to our webinar on work hardening and work conditioning. You have no idea how glad we are to have you with us today. It's great to see such a big turnout. I think we have 47 participants present today. Thank you for attending this webinar.
Thank you very much for spending your weekend with us.
Okay, on behalf of MAOT Batch 26, we'd like to take this opportunity to commend you for taking time out of your day to join us and to learn more about work hardening and work conditioning. We greatly appreciate your presence in this webinar. So let me introduce first the group that made today's event possible. We are students at Cebu Doctors University, taking the Masters of Arts in Occupational Therapy program, and we are from Batch 26. We are composed of 14 students from various parts of the US and the Philippines. This webinar is one of our major fieldwork projects that we have been working on for the past weeks. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of our professors. Thank you, sir and ma'am, for being with us today. And also, by the way, thank you and kudos to MAOT Batch 28 for their marketing efforts to promote this webinar. My name is Norman Fernandez, and with me is Miss Aubrey Jimenez, and we will be hosting today's webinar. Hello, Miss Aubrey. How are you today?
Hi, Norman. Hello, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Hello, all, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar entitled Work Smarter, Not Harder: Understanding Work Conditioning and Work Hardening in Occupational Therapy.
Okay, I can't wait to listen and learn about work conditioning and work hardening, Aubrey.
Yes, Norman, and you know what? We will learn from two well-experienced speakers. They are a perfect fit for our webinar today. Just for a brief info to our listeners, let me give a quick definition of our topic for today. So work conditioning and work hardening are two important processes in the field of occupational therapy that is designed to help individuals return to work after an injury or illness. These programs focus on physical and functional rehabilitation, helping individuals regain the strength, endurance, and flexibility needed to perform job-specific tasks. Both work conditioning and work hardening programs are typically supervised by licensed occupational therapists and can be customized to meet the needs of each individual. So, by improving the individual's physical and functional abilities, these programs can help individuals return to work with confidence and reduce the risk of re-injury. I'm not sure about you, Norman, but I am really looking forward to learn more about this topic.
Actually, I'm so excited to learn more because you gave us a good definition of work conditioning and work hardening. So we will hear more from our speakers later. Okay, so to start this webinar, first, here are the objectives. Number one is to define work hardening and work conditioning. Number two, to determine the differences between the two. Third is to identify the OT goals, evaluation or assessment, intervention used in work conditioning and work hardening. Fourth, to decide when to refer a patient for work conditioning and work hardening. Fifth, to describe the work conditioning and work hardening in the US and how we can be promoted, or how can they be promoted in the Philippines. And last but not the least, to establish the home programs for both. So there you are, folks. Are you ready for our webinar? But before we proceed today's program, let's hear some words from our generous sponsors.
All right.
For our platinum sponsors, Creatrix Therapy Center, the Sensory Play Pediatric Occupational Therapy Center, Twin Town, the Physical Therapy and Scoliosis Center, Leo Mapagu and Maria Natad Mapagu, Frutusan ni Adan, Sadotech Solutions Corporation, Urban Wash, Potentials Therapy Center, Thrivy Online Shop, iLearn Educational Intervention and Therapy Center, Esma Life of Insular Life Insurance Company, Mindy Mangakan, Beyond Limits Learning and Therapy Services Incorporated. Therapy Works Incorporated. Big Jewelry Creation. For our gold sponsors, Academy Hammock, Safe Uriel Therapy Clinic, RLIM Community Pharmacy and Medical Clinic, Building Bridges Therapy Center, for our silver sponsors, Mr. Corndog, J&T Madela Drop-Off Point, Great Times Travel and Tours, Neurosciences Unit, Pathway Therapy Center, Skin and Toes Valley Makati Branch, Pathways Center for Child Development, Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines Incorporated Cebu Chapter, Little Palm Occupational Therapy Clinic. For our ex-deal sponsors, the company Cebu, Lithocraft, Backroom Studio Cebu, Third Wave Coffee, Little Champions Academy Incorporated. Thank you once again for your support.
Okay, thank you, sponsors, and welcome back. Before we officially start this webinar, just FYI, guys, we are also live streaming on Facebook right now. So if you have friends, please do invite them to watch us, okay? Or to join us in our webinar. And also, I just want to say some housekeeping rules before we start. We encourage everyone to be totally present and engaged with us today. If you could all please switch your cell phones to silent mode and make sure that there are no distractions around you, we'd kindly appreciate it, okay? And may we respectfully request and do us a favor by keeping your Zoom on mute throughout the whole presentation.
All right. Thank you, Norman. And again, while the speakers are having their presentation and a question pops up in your head, write it down, save it, and ask it during the question and answer. Or feel free to use the chat box, and someone from our team will take note of any questions you may have and pass them on to our speakers. We will do our best to answer all of your questions to the best of our ability with the time we have for this webinar. And now
Yes.
that's done, get ready to sit back, relax, and enjoy this webinar.
Okay, thank you, Miss Aubrey. All right, guys, once you're all settled in, first we'd like the audience to participate in our poll. Does everyone see the poll on their screens? If you see the poll, type the number 5 in the chat box. If you still don't see it popping up, type the letter X, and our technicians will have it smoothed over. On the poll, Please fill out your location, the age group to which you belong, and the kind of work you're currently involved in. So go ahead, fill up the poll. Can everybody see the poll? Okay. Are all answers in now? Okay, let's wait for our technical committee to pop up the results.
So looks like we have a little bit of technical difficulty with the Zoom poll. So, all right. So I think we can just go ahead and move on to the next part. We will get back to the Zoom poll, guys. So we apologize for that. All right. So for our first game, we will draw all of the participants' names in this webinar using the Wheel of Names app. So the winner will receive a prize through GCash or worth 300 pesos or $10 through Venmo if you are from the US, courtesy of MAOT batch 26. So Julianne, okay, so let's spin the wheel.
All right, this is exciting.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, we have a winner.
Congratulations. Josan Drews. And Miss Josan is a colleague of ours and she's living in the United States. So wait for your Venmo, Josan. And thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Yay. We have a US winner. So hopefully the next one will be coming from the Philippines. Okay.
All right. Congratulations to the winner, and please be reminded that you will receive an email with instructions on how to redeem your prize. If you are a winner, please put your email address down in the chat box.
Nice. Okay. And now it gives me the utmost pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for work conditioning. He is a graduate of Emilio Aguinaldo College in 1999 and earned his post-professional occupational therapy doctorate degree in May 2019 at the University of Medical Sciences in Arizona. He has 25 years of experience in a diverse clinical practice, including pediatrics, both in hospital and school-based settings, office ergonomics, teaching, and adult outpatient and inpatient rehabilitation. He is also an elected committee chairman of the Occupational Therapy Association of the Philippines. Currently, he is serving as a volunteer through various organizations such as the Philippine Academy of Occupational Therapists, Inc., the National Board for Certification in Occupational Therapy, and the American Occupational Therapy Association. That's very quite impressive, Norman.
I know, right? And you know what, Miss Aubrey? There's more. Aside from those you mentioned, he is also a certified in neurodevelopmental treatment or NDT for adults, certified vital slim or STEM plus provider, both adult and pediatrics, certified ergonomics assessment specialist level 1, certified in physical agent modalities or PAMS. He's also certified in Lee Silverman voice treatment BIG or LSVT BIG and post-professional dysphagia. He worked in Hamad Medical Corporation in Doha, Qatar for 4 years. Then he moved to Kansas Rehabilitation Hospital in Topeka, Kansas. But now he is living in Las Vegas, Nevada. He is also passionate about serving and protecting our profession with integrity and selfless service. And with utmost pleasure, may I have the honor to introduce to you our first speaker for today, none other than Dr. Alan Romero Espelita. Take it away, Dr. Alan.
Hello, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. Good evening from the United States. And magandang or hapon sa inyong lahat in the Philippines. So let me just share my screen quickly for me to be able to set up my PowerPoint. Where's my PowerPoint? There you go. Can you see it?
Yes, Dr. Alan.
Okay, so let me just. Now I'm still controlling again this thing. Just bear with me quickly. All right, so why it's not moving again. How can I undo again the videos and stuff? Let me just undo this quickly. Sorry for the technical issue.
It's okay, Dr. Allen. Take your time. For the meantime, it looks like our winner, Miss Josanne, said if we can draw the spin the names again.
Yeah, I think
Thank you,
she's too generous
Josanne.
to pass it on to someone else.
Yes.
Can we play again the spin wheel of names?
The wheel of names.
Or maybe in a bit?
I'm just turning this. Ah, I forgot to do this again.
Tech team, maybe you can help out, or maybe you can, I think we do have a slide, a copy of the slides from Dr. Allen. Maybe you can also try to share it.
I'm sharing it. The only thing is that
Okay.
the pictures on the side are showing, so
Oh,
participants hidden. Remember, it's the same problem that I had last time. Display. All right, let's keep moving. Slideshow.
looks like it's working now.
It's working. Okay. Can you see it or no?
Yes, we
Yes, we can, Doc.
The only thing is I have to disable the picture bars at the side so I can see my PowerPoint from my end. Hide names, hide video panel, computer sound.
Okay, while Dr. Allen is
Okay.
preparing his
Sorry.
presentation. It's okay, Dr. Allen. I just want to thank the participants for, being here with us tonight or today.
Can somebody help me about how to hide all the participants' view? Can somebody help me do it? Caption, breakout reaction, recognize, and just focus mode. Okay, let me. Sorry.
Doc Allen, would you like the tech committee to handle your PowerPoints?
I think, yeah, hold on. The only thing is that I don't know how to undo this video sidebar. Blur, remove spotlight. If I do that now, it's not working. Allow. Can I exit quickly? Hold on.
Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, it's not working. All right, let's just keep moving.
All right, Doc Allen.
So, is
So,
this okay?
can you try? There's like a view button on the upper right.
Huh?
I don't know if you can try on the upper right side of the screen. There's like a view button. I don't know if you
Mm.
can try standard side by side gallery, or hide non-video participant, hide self-view, or full screen. I don't know if you can see on the upper right side corner of your Zoom screen.
Uh-huh.
There's like a view button.
Hide what?
If you click on that one, there's like
Which one I
different views.
view?
Yeah.
Hide view
If you
panel?
click, yeah, if you click on the view thing, you can select if a standard view, side by side view, or gallery view, or swap video and shared screens. You can share a different screen. Can I share screen really quick? Let me see.
I
Let me just
I
try.
think I got it. Let me see if
Oh,
this
you got it?
works.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Let's see if this is working. Zoom share, and let me start slideshow from. Is this okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Doc.
yes, Doc Al.
Okay, I think I can move on. All right. Sorry. Thanks for the help. All right. So sorry for the technical problem about it. All right. So as what I said, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan, magandang araw, and good evening from the United States. So I'll be presenting today is about work conditioning program. And I've been doing this for quite some time when I was working in an outpatient therapy clinic back in Kansas. And I just want to share some of my experiences on how we do things in our outpatient program. So just an introduction about work conditioning. The therapeutic use of work has always been the core tenets of occupational therapy since the inception of the profession. Now, the early leaders of occupational therapy identified importance of work when defined profession focus on and purpose. Now, the focus of treatment in this seminar is to restore the impaired body parts to a normal function as possible. The goal of returning the client to work is the most important thing that we have to consider. Occupational therapists play an important role in helping individuals participate in all aspects of work. Work is one of the 9 occupations categorized within the domain of occupational therapy practice. According to the Occupational Therapy Practice Framework, Domain and Processes 4th edition, that was published in 2020, work is defined as labor or exertion related to the development, production, delivery, or management of objects or services. Benefits may be financial or non-financial, such as social connectedness, contribution to society, structure and routine to daily life. And this is according to Christensen and Townsend in 2010. Occupational therapy services are designed to be client-centered, whether the client is an individual client or worker, a work group, an employer, or the overall workforce. Occupational therapy practitioners provide services to promote health and wellness, prevent injury, and maximize work performance and participation for clients who experience challenges in attaining, maintaining, or resuming work because of disease, disability, or injury. Now, the framework identified 6 activities. So based on our topic and discussion today, work is identified in 6 categories. That's what I've said, but we are focused more on job performance and maintenance. When we say job performance and maintenance is creating, producing, and distributing products and services, maintaining required work skills and patterns, managing time use, managing relationships with coworkers, managers, and customers, following and providing leadership and supervision, initiating, sustaining, and completing work, complying with work norms and procedures, seeking and responding to feedback on performance. And the other area is volunteer participation. When we say volunteer participation, is performing unpaid work activities for the benefit of selected people, causes, and organization. Now, the idea of using work for rehabilitation is the very core of occupational therapy. The goal of rehabilitation of uninjured workers, maximization of their function, and returning them to work as quickly as possible and safely is the most important thing to consider. The delivery system of this type of rehabilitation has evolved over time from a lengthy hospital-based program to structured interdisciplinary programs in inpatient or outpatient, setting to a more progressive partnership between outpatient intervention and transitional work, as well as rehabilitation occurring in the workplace in company-sponsored clinics. Now, what is occupational therapy role? As what I've said, foundational in education in kinesiology, sociology, and psychology provide a solid basis for assessing and addressing cognitive, emotional, and behavioral ability and dysfunction related to work demands, capacities, and pacing. We serve an essential role in work rehabilitation in designing and administering graded functional interventions with emphasis on purposeful activity, fine motor coordination, load handling, and work simulation. Now, what is work conditioning? Work conditioning is a program that helps people recovering from an injury or illness get back to work. According to the American Physical Therapy Association, work conditioning is a work-related, intensive, goal-oriented, prescribed program specifically designed to restore an individual's systemic, neuromusculoskeletal, such as strength, endurance, movement, flexibility, and motor control, and cardiopulmonary function. The objective of work conditioning program is to restore the client's physical capacity and function so that the client can return to work. Now, who is it for? If a person has received acute rehabilitation services that is expected to return to their old job but cannot because they are too weak, a work conditioning program can help. So, can I talk in Filipino? So, yung pasyenteng nag-therapy na, pero hindi kayang bumalik sa trabaho, I can just relate right now to one of my colleague who suffered a decurvain stenosynovitis and she underwent surgery. She just did her FCE few days ago. And what happened is that she's having a hard time lifting the required job description for lifting sa ating profession, which is you need to at least lift 50 pounds. But if you have those challenges, then work conditioning might be a good program for you to be able to return to work, for you to be able to lift that required 50 pounds so that you can resume your work again as an occupational therapist. A patient employee should have met all their acute rehabilitation goals, as well as have pain-free, restriction-free range of motion. So when you're undergoing with this program, there's no more restriction in terms of what the doctor is saying. For example, if you have the cardiac surgery in paciente, sometimes patients are not allowed to lift more than 10 pounds. So With this criteria, the patient should be free from that restriction already. No more external precautions. And we have to consider also the pain-free restriction, but sometimes pain might be chronic, but we can still consider some of these ideas na patient can still work within the accepted pain level, at least minimal pain, 1 to 3 might be okay for them to be able to participate in this program. The employee also should have strong return to work goals. So yun ang importante is, do they still want to bring this patient back to their company and resume yung regular work niya? And demonstrate the willingness to participate in the program is another key for the patient also. Sometimes, as one area that we are considering a while ago when I was saying about the cognitive and behavioral component of it, is the patient is really willing to participate and go back to work, or parang nagkaroon na siya ng depression that she cannot do this anymore and she gave up or he gave up. So those are things that we have to consider. We have to identify their willingness to participate in the program so that it will be a successful one. Now, benefit of work conditioning. A work conditioning program gives the referring provider confidence in maximum improvement after intervention. The employer confidence that the injured worker can safely return to their job, and the injured worker confidence in their ability to perform job demands. This program and method of confidence building can help eliminate guarding and poor technique that often plagues those who return to work without attempting job-specific activities at a job pace. Work conditioning can also help to reduce the likelihood of re-injury to the worker. Can I just have a sip of water quickly? Okay, now OT roles and goals. Occupational therapy practitioners provide services to those with limitations in the area of work performance. Now, the occupational therapist focuses on identifying and analyzing the problem and selecting and or deciding appropriate assessment and intervention for solution of the problem. Now, according to this statement, occupational therapy services in facilitating work performance, problems in work performance can arise from physical, sensory, cognitive, perceptual, psychological, social, or developmental changes. Therefore, occupational therapy practitioners provide work-related services in a variety of settings, including but not limited to acute care and rehabilitation, industrial sites in office environments, psychiatric treatment centers, and in the community. Two key services that provides this setting is evaluation intervention, which includes consultant of preventive, restorative, and compensatory services. Excuse me. Okay, so occupational therapy evaluation, what are the areas that we are looking into? So there are two questions that you might ask. Can the client return to work after disease or disability? Is it a massive condition that might limit him to resume normal activity, or they can still participate or go back to their work with some modification? What can be done to improve the mental and physical health and wellness of the employee? So those are two questions that you have to look into and consider when you are starting the program with your client. So job analysis of work and productive tasks, including work methods and behaviors, to identify the required activity demands of the work tasks, including work routines, tools and equipments, and the physical work environment related to ergonomic considerations and accessibility. So with job analysis, it's very important. You have to identify Ano ba yung ginagawa niya sa pang-araw-araw? Nagre-require ba to ng matagalang upuan sa pagta-type sa computer? Or does this requires a lot of lifting, twisting, and carrying, pushing, climbing? So titignan niyo lahat yon. Aalamin niyo yan, you ask the patient, what is your typical work? Ano yung ginagawa mo? And you can also ask the employer if they can give you the job description of the employee so that you can identify and anticipate what is the program that you will be tailoring for that patient, specifically for the job demand that they will be doing. So you can look into the pain level, as what I've said, at least very minimal pain for them to be able to participate, but ideally no pain. You have to also look into the range of motion. So you can use the typical goniometry, strength like manual muscle testing, dynamometer, pinch gauge might be one of the tools that you might be using during your evaluation, identifying their level of endurance and exertion. Coordination, you can use 9-hole peg, for example, for you to be able to test their coordination. Ability to function, just like the dash or disability or arm, shoulder, and hand. You might consider that as one of your outcome measure if it's necessary, but dash is basically more into the acute care setting. The Bennett hand tool might be another tool that you might be able to use in terms of tool handling or tools and equipments that you will be identifying if they can work on those equipments and tools later on. Now, occupational therapy process can be guided by various theories, models, and frames of references. Just to give you an example for that is the person environment, occupation performance model, or the model of human occupation, depending on what area you're looking into and what are you considering. Okay. All right. Now, occupational therapy intervention. So, physical conditioning is an important component of rehabilitation process to increase cardiovascular fitness, enable workers to sustain tasks and return to a full workload. So full workload. This is achieved through the use of therapeutic exercise, multi-hour training regimens, and higher intensity than outpatient care. The individual neuromuscular adaptation required tailored intervention, particularly in long-standing movement patterns. Exercise intervention are well supported by literature, but there's no single exercise modality shows superiority over others in most musculoskeletal conditions. Therefore, exercises should align with the patient's preferences and job task performance, as what I've said a while ago. Now, these components must be paired with other interventions for maximal effect and have stronger effect with chronic conditions rather than acute conditions. Exercise plans needs to be individualized and incorporate factors of both physical and psychosocial aspect to improve outcomes. So typically here in the United States, it takes about 40 to 60 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. Sometimes it can be 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the availability and insurance coverage. And this might last up to 6 weeks, depending on the program that you will be designing, and also the willingness of the patient to participate. Okay, so I'll be showing you a video about how work conditioning program here in the United States in one of the facility, and how does occupational therapy work with their patients.
Ryan Hicks may be off the job as a sanitation worker, but he's still working hard. He blew out 4 tendons in his arm as he tried to load a sofa into a dumpster.
That's what happened right there. Unfortunately, it was heavier than what I thought. And when I went up to dump it, I'm gonna load it in a container. I messed up 4 tendons in my bicep. And here I am.
Specifically, he's at Apple Physical Therapy's clinic in Federal Way, working in a highly customized, intensive work conditioning program designed just for him by occupational therapist Dana Akron.
It is a customized program for the clients because we have to understand first what they do for work and also what degree their injury is impacting their ability to perform their job demands. So we will go through and we will interview the clients in regards to their job tasks, or else if we have a job analysis available to us, we'll pick out the key components that the client needs to work on.
Typical work conditioning sessions last 40 minutes, but Apple's program has Brian and members of the Apple team working together for about an hour and 20 minutes per day, 3 to 5 times a week for up to 6 weeks. The goal is to increase the patient's work-related functional capacity so they can get back on the job safely. And treatment providers like occupational medicine clinic Steve Fuel say safety is the key to get injured workers whose muscles might have atrophied during injury and treatment back to work-ready strength.
For those people, work conditioning is very important because what it does is it's basically a strengthening program to re-strengthen those muscles to the level that they're required to be strengthened to do the job of injury. At Apple Physical Therapy, the work conditioning, in my experience, has always been very good. They do exactly that.
Fuel knows the injured worker system inside and out and says work conditioning costs on the front end are way more than made up for with lower insurance premiums and lost time costs on the back end by breaking the cycle of injury and re-injury. Apple's work conditioning program can be initiated in the early stages of rehabilitation or after more traditional interventions fail. Either way, it's an important option for employers, the insurer, the physician, and patients like Brian Hicks.
You tell yourself that everything's gonna be okay. But as day to day goes on, you realize that it's not getting better. So then you get frustrated, you get depressed, you get all the things that come with, oh, it's not gonna work, we'll be like this forever. And then one day you find yourself lifted more than what you lifted the previous day. So that right there, it helps out of your confidence, you know, and plus coming here, these guys, they really help me out because if I can only do maybe 10, they won't just be like, okay, that's great. They'd be like, okay, if you can do some more, try it. So I did that.
Yes, a lot of the work is what you might expect, core strengthening and overall fitness. But Apple's expertise in evaluating job demands produces a circuit of highly customized task-specific exercises and job-specific motions and strengthening on the BTE Simulator 2, one of only a few of these very expensive and highly specialized pieces of equipment available in the Pacific Northwest, where immediate feedback is given and performance is monitored in real time.
As always with Apple Physical Therapy, and it's the reason that I've been so impressed with Apple Physical Therapy over the years that I've worked with them, is the level of professionalism, level of expertise, my ability to call them up anytime I need to and talk to the therapist that's treating one of my patients in person on the phone, as well as getting reports either emailed, faxed, or mail, however I want them. And I need that because I read those reports and I depend to a great deal on the reporting from the therapists and their observations at Apple to make my decisions in the treatment of my patients.
At the end of the day, controlling costs, providing treatments based on strong evidence of their effectiveness, and just getting workers back to their lives is where therapists like Dana Akron find the passion for what they do.
Really, I think where my heart is with this is that, you know, I like people to get better. I mean, I want them to achieve their goal. There's a lot of depression that comes along with not being a productive member of society. And so to get back to work in the safest, fastest manner is ultimately our goal, to help them not just reach their work goal, but also their personal goals and to feel like they're returning back to life.
I mean, yeah, it could be like this for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. Look at me, 3 months. But in a couple more weeks, I'm back to where I was before, going back to work, going to the gym, feeling confident about myself, you know, and I think coming here really helped me out a lot.
Our intensive work conditioning program brings a lot of benefits, a positive relationship with employers who see workers making an effort to get back, an accelerated recovery, which reduces the chances of long-term problems. And it provides a positive return on investment for everybody, since outcomes are good and the amount of time spent on the sidelines is reduced. Want to learn more about Apple's comprehensive strategies for dealing with injured workers? Check out our website at www.applept.com. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Hey, did you know that Apple Physical Therapy offers?
So I think we're good. And this is our references for your for you to go through if you need it and reference our topic for today. Thank you. And sorry about the technical issues.
No worries about it, Dr. Allen. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Norman?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Allen, for a very informative and insightful talk. It is always good to learn information on work conditioning from an experienced OT. Back to you, Aubrey.
Right. Thank you, Norman. So before we proceed to the next part of this webinar, we would like to acknowledge the presence of one of our professors in this program, Ms. Diane. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today.
Yeah.
And also, we would like to remind our viewers that question and answers will be done after the presentation of our speakers. And type down all of your questions in the chat box. And again, one of our team members will jot it down for you. And also, besides Ms. Diane, I would also like to give a shout out for our colleagues here in the Santa Clara County of Education. Thank you guys for coming. All our friends and families who's joining us today. Thank you so much. And now to introduce our next speaker, Norman, will you do the honor?
Of course, Miss Aubrey, it really is my honor to introduce our second speaker for today's webinar. She is from Manila. She is a graduate from University of Santo Tomas with a bachelor degree in occupational therapy back in 2019. She is currently working as an OT staff at Medical City in Ortigas, Pasig City since 2020, treating patients with physical dysfunction, including dysphagia management, spleen fabrication, activities of daily living or ADL retraining, and hand rehabilitation. In 2021, she collaborated with the Alzheimer's Disease Association of the Philippines, or ADAP, to provide exercise materials for patients with dementia.
Right. Also, she has been a resource speaker to allied health professionals, nurses, and doctors during Neurology Week in 2020 and 2021, and Nursing for Elderly in 2022. Conference discussing topics such as adaptive devices, caring for the elderly, and the importance of exercises for patients with stroke. She had been a recipient of Most Outstanding Occupational Therapist and Allied Health Team Player of the Year during the Medical City Allied Health Awards in 2022. So
that's
without
great.
further ado, let's all welcome Ms. Anchila Raimundo Diamante, OTRP. Hi, Ms. Chill. Take it away, Ms. Chill.
Hi, hello, good day, everyone. It's so wonderful to see a lot of participants today and to be a part of this wonderful webinar talking about work. And hi, how is everyone doing? It's a
Doing
Sunday
great,
here in
miss.
Manila. It's a Sunday here in Manila, and I think Saturday in America.
Yeah,
Hi.
Saturday night.
A little shout out to my interns. Hi, hello. Sorry, dragged
Yay,
you in
thank
here.
you. Thank you
Hi.
guys for joining us in FB live stream.
Yes.
Yes.
And so without prolonging this, I will now start with my presentation on work hardening. Hi, I'd like to present working hard, or is it hardly working? Work hardening. So to everyone here right now, I hope you're all okay. I hope after a hard week's work, I hope you're resting and you're still here. So thank you. this is going to be um, a fun presentation. So just relax, and I hope you learn a few more things today. So work hardening. Let's start with work. Doc Allen presented it wonderfully with a definition of it. Work is one of the most important occupations to adult patients. So right now I deal with adult patients. Just to introduce myself, next slide. That's me. Next slide. Yeah, that's me. I look like that. I when I treat my patients, because I got hired in the middle of the pandemic, we looked like aliens to them. But I treat mainly adults with physical dysfunctions in a hospital setting. We help them recover, and among the occupations that they want to return to, ADLs, high ADLs leisure work remains to be the most important one to them. So if play is the main occupation of children, work is the main occupation of adults. So they come in palang, and automatically, like if it's their first session palang, they automatically want to return to work. And I'm like, I haven't met you yet. I haven't seen you yet. You haven't even sat down. Calm down. All right. So I'll get right to it. Next, I will now define work hardening. It is an individualized, highly structured program designed to help our patients to return to their pre-injury work level in a safe and timely manner. So with these patients wanting to aim to return back to work, they want it sometimes as fast as they could, or until insurance runs out, or they sometimes give a deadline, and it's our job to tell them that we have to make sure you're safe first, or if we have to make sure you are equipped with the skills muna before you're back out there. Yeah, so it's safe. Next, work hardening aims to bridge the gap between skills learned in the confines of the therapy center, where it's safe, where it's okay to make a mistake, where it's okay to drop cones and all the task tools, and the actual work site of the patient. Those are two very different environments, two very different demands, and two very different sense of obligation. Na I'm at the center, I'm not paid for this, I can learn, I'm free to make mistakes here. Pero at work, diba, you're getting paid for it. You have to set, you have to accomplish sort of like a census of the day, or like to tick off the checklist of a lot of work tasks. So mas mahirap talaga, mas nakaka-conscious sa work. Is a therapy center, it's not that, it's not that nerve-wracking for them, for these patients. So how do we as OTs help them move the skills from the hospital or the center to the actual work site, or when they're discharged? That's through work hardening. Next slide, please. First off, who actually benefits from the work hardening program? It unfortunately cannot be everyone, but we do have like mga guidelines on who can benefit from this. So first off, patients who are now medically stable, or yung mga vital signs ay mas regular, or hindi na going through extremes or going through ups and downs. Yung mga hindi na nahihingalo when they're working, because remember, in the Philippines, our normal work day is 8 to 5. That's 8 hours. So how will they endure the whole day if their vital signs are not stable? Next, like Doc Allen said, those without serious or chronic diagnosis, with the exception of pain, if it's manageable. There are some diagnoses or conditions that are progressive, and medyo it's hard to mahirap tansyahin kung makakabalik sila dun sa pinaka-full or 100% ng work performance. So, yeah, we take that into consideration, their current condition. And another population that can benefit are those who are physically deconditioned, with whose current physical state still do not meet the demands of the pre-morbid job, but still want to work. Like those with a determined, like Doc Allen said, with a determined return to work goal. So I've met a lot of like really persistent patients na gusto talaga bumalik sa work, and it's really up to us as OTs or other healthcare professionals to let them or help them, feel comfortable with maybe baka when I go back to work, baka hindi yung full 100% na face-to-face, baka they might have to resort to like baka hybrid setup where it's work from home, konting face-to-face, or full work from home. And there's also the light, heavy, or very heavy work that we will bring them back to. So next slide, please. Work hardening brings about a lot of benefits as well, like work conditioning. So first off, I'll go through this one by one. It obviously improves, quality of life. These patients I've met many patients na breadwinners of the family na had to unfortunately go through a life-changing injury or onset of illness. Sometimes they feel depressed or naninibago sa yung hindi na nagtatrabaho when work used to be the center of the universe. So it makes them feel very sad to be out of that agad. So that's why they really aim to go back to work where they feel like they're productive members of society, where they feel like they're earning for their family. So when we do work hardening, it will, of course, help them improve their quality of life. Next, it improves the patient's employability. It makes them more aware of their limitations and of their strengths. And if they want to go back to that work, or if they want to explore other options which could better suit them, then this could also improve that. Next, we ensure active participation in the occupation of work exploration and participation. Another one is that we ensure that it's a safe return to work, decreasing the likelihood of the recurring workplace injury or sickness. Ayaw naman natin na ibabalik sila or di-discharge sila na tapos after 2 weeks babalik din because it happened again. Like baka nagka-injury ulit habang naghihiwa ng food or something. So we want, to decrease the likelihood of seeing them again. I mean, nothing personal, but yeah. Next and last, patients will be less likely to develop symptom magnification and to assume the sick role. No one wants the sick role. No one, like especially the workforce, the working young professionals to even be in that sick role. And there are some those elderly who still are not retiring and are still deemed as the breadwinners of their family. So they really don't want this, and this is one of the benefits of work hardening for them. Next slide. Yes, as our queen Rihanna said, work. Joke lang. We go through the timeline of setting goals first, and then doing a thorough evaluation, and then doing the treatment so that they get back up from the hospital bed. Yes, we start from the ICU on the way to back to work, up on their feet. So first off, we always work with the patient to set the goals. Next slide, please. to set their goals. And these include improving the underlying client factors, this such as the range of motion, strength or weakness, endurance, sensation, yes, and control of voluntary movement. It could also be that they want to restore the skills lost because of the injury or the illness, the process and motor skills needed within the job demand. So dito, we kind of sometimes ask for the job description, or we ask them to describe what they need to do in a typical workday. Other times we aim to modify their work environment to provide adapted tools, equipment to fix the seating arrangement, or even the lighting where they work. And when we set this goal, we involve, of course, the client. They should not be, they should not be passive members in this, so that when it comes to evaluation, they help us out and it's well made. So after goal setting, next slide, we evaluate. This is so important because it is from this part that we feel we get a sense of what we need to do during treatment, which sometimes is time limited and parang maiksi lang. Yeah. So first off, we get the history of present illness or injury. This gives us an insight of whether it's likely to recur, where did it happen, baka sa work, baka while they're doing their tasks, while they're on the job, and how can it be avoided in the future. Work evaluation. We assess the physical, cognitive, functional, and behavioral requirements of the job the patient wants to return to. It's different for everyone, even if they're both the same, like dalawang patients, both chefs, and they want to return to the same thing. Baka iba, one is a cold kitchen dessert kind of chef, and the other one is a hot kitchen kind of chef. So we don't we always do a thorough assessment of that. And also we assess the work environment where the patient will be spending the 8 to 5, 9 to 10, and 9 to 6 in. Is it safe? Is it accessible to our patient? And I think Doc Allen suggested to me that if we can't really go there, I think it's worth it to ask the patient to take pictures of the work site, of the cubicle, or kung saan siya nag-work. Yeah, I did not think of that earlier, so thank you, Doc Allen. After evaluating, during evaluation, there are tools. One such tool that we can use is the functional capacity evaluation. Next slide. It's a wonderful assessment tool that just really is just like a tick box kind of thing. Yes, and it gives us like it's very specific with postural limitations, like how much does this patient need to sit, stand, bend, climb, reach throughout the day. So you just take it, or you interview the patient, or you ask them to go through it. Next slide. This is just like an example of it. Physical exertion limitations. Yeah. Nandiyan, lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling. And then talagang may measurements yan of how much they need to lift. Manipulative hand dexterity limitations. Of course, mental limitations are included. A lot of work now is like really handles with cognitive executive functions. Next. And also communication. Another version of this tool is this next one. Next slide, where it's just, you just have to fill it up. It's wonderful. I can give the link to anyone who wants it. And you can just put an X if ever. And it actually defines the different kinds of work, sedentary work, light work, medium, heavy, and very heavy work. So they're different. Next slide po. Next. So there you have a brief. Yeah, you can use this. And I've only had to, unfortunately, I've only had the pleasure of using this once for insurance purposes of the patient. Next po. Next. Oh, sorry. Number 8 is one of the most important nerve-wracking things that I've ever had to tick off. Sorry, previous slide. I've ever had to tick off because because this is literally what the employer sees or the doctor sees. If the person can continue, I'm really blessed to be employed in a hospital where our opinions are or our professional opinion is very well regarded, that when we say something, when we recommend something, they follow through, like they actually take it into consideration. And so if we recommend that they return to work full-time or just part-time, or like adjust to a work from home basis, they really do that. So yeah. Next. Other assessment tools include the following. I think Doc Allen also included this. So goniometry, dynamometer, pinch gauge, and sensory eval. So next slide. After the evaluation is done, we can now treat. We can now work with the patient to get back to work. Yeah. So it involves a lot of strength and endurance improvement, patient education, of course, for joint protection techniques, energy conservation management, and proper body mechanics, especially if physical yung trabaho niya. So and we actually can recommend or have them get modifications to work tools and environments, so it helps them every day and not just like for now. And of course, my favorite, simulation of critical work demands. So this is work simulation. And on the next slide, there are pictures of this, where within the confines of the clinic, it's where it's safe, where it's okay to make mistakes, where it's okay to drop things. We use tools that are not the real thing for them to simulate the work task. So here we see improvised crates for lifting, improvised ladders, an improvised kitchen station, and another one for lifting. So I'm really proud to say that in Medical City, our OT section is versatile enough for me to turn it into anything I want to. I can turn it into an airplane. I can turn it into imagination wise. I can turn it into a kitchen. I can turn it into a cubicle for work, and and make the patient feel like it's a little bit better now. Like it's a little bit more close to where they're supposed to be, because in the typical clinic setting, it still feels like I'm in the hospital. It's still very obvious that it's too safe, it's too baka maging complacent sila. But this one makes them feel like, okay, konti na lang isi-switch ko to into a real knife, into a real spatula, and this feels like the real thing. And sometimes it has led to actual work tasks, actual performance in coffee making and cooking. So yeah, this is my favorite part of work hardening, but I'm not sure if like a lot of you agree, but it's fun to improvise with tools. While we don't have, like in the Philippines, like not in the hospital, I guess, in my workplace, we don't have a lot of like the fancy, standardized equipment. I just really buy things from mag-brand drop, Daiso Japan Home, just to make it feel like home. Yeah. Who here has that? Who has had the experience of improvising with makeshift things so that maha work simulation? You can just put it in the chat. Okay, so next, when do we refer? So occupational therapists, we can also, we have the authority to refer or when we feel a patient is medyo okay na, we can refer them for work hardening. When, first, their physical recovery is sufficient enough to allow for progressive reactivation and participation. Another one is when they have a defined return to work goal. For many acute on for many acute patients, wala pa ito sa kanila eh. They just want to get better. They just want to use their hand again. They just want to, walk again. They just want to at least do something with their hands. So wala pa yung return to work agad. But when they start expressing na, oh, baka kaya ko na, oh, chill, parang na-try ko nang magsulat ulit. Try ko na mag-work from home kahit mag-Zoom meeting lang. That's when we can refer. And of course, the worker must be able to benefit from the program. Is he or she one of the patients who can benefit, like from the start, from the first slides? And lastly, if it's this is according to like American practice or American protocols, but it's a good baseline as well, standard as well, if it's no more than 2 years past date of injury or onset of illness. Because the longer they are idle or the longer their bahay hospital lang, the harder it is for them to get back to work. Alam namin lahat natin to, kapag masyadong mahaba yung leave, mahirap na bumalik sa trabaho. So imagine those patients na sobrang tagal na ng pag-heal ng fracture or pag-heal ng paralysis or injury, tapos babalik sa work, maninibago sila, mahihirapan sila, and they might not feel comfortable returning to a workplace with many people watching them perform these work tasks. Talagang nakakababa din ng self-esteem niyan. So we want them to be comfortable. We want them to be able to benefit from this program. Now, I've talked a lot about this program, and while researching, it's a lot of like standards, protocols from America and other countries where OT is established really. But it's also time for me to discuss how it's practiced here. So in the next slide, I will talk about the current practice in the Philippines where I work. Okay. So in America or other countries, work hardening, the program itself, is a 4-hour session, 5 days per week, Monday to Friday, which gradually increases to 8 hours per day. So hindi naman namin kaya yan right now because what we do right now is it's just 1-hour sessions with the patient, and we give them home instructions so that it just builds up from there. And yeah, so just to give you a brief background, there's only 2 OTs in the whole hospital that I work in. So medyo mahirap yung 4-hour sessions, 5 days per week. So ang dami din pong patients. So we're really overworked. We're really my backlog din with patient load. So if with work hardening, it's really just 1-hour sessions, maybe 2-3 times a week. So we really exert a lot of effort in caregiver patient education para ma-supplement din sa bahay. Like we always tell them, we only have 1 hour with you. You are with you're with yourself for the rest of the 23 hours a day. So kayo din po ay may hawak sa inyong pag-rehabilitation at sa inyong pagbalik sa trabaho. So kayo din po ay may responsibilidad sa paggaling mo. And they actually get empowered with this. I'm blessed to like have met a lot of patients na ma'am, chill, I did my homework. Mas lumakas like, so they really report because they know how hard it is to get slots. Next, abroad, it's no sorry, it's a wonderful thing where the patient's employers, the big companies, are actually really involved in the work hardening program, going so far as to actually fund them and include them in the insurance policy of that patient, of their employee. So when it comes to the reevaluation part, sila mismo nakiki-join in sa table meeting or sa table check-up. But here, unfortunately, and well, it's room for improvement. It's still very much up to the discretion of the employer regarding the workload of the patient when they return to work, or reassignment. Um, it's unfortunate that they're not as involved as we want them to. So this provides us with an avenue to actually, involve them more and to have a discussion, a dialogue with them, so that we ensure inclusion. Something that the Philippine setup is still working on. But I'm really glad to have met some patients whose employers are very, very solid, like super, like they really take into consideration what the patient has gone through. They really care for their employers, sana all, and they reassign them to make sure it's safe for them to return to work. Some patients we've had to recommend to return to work from home para safe, para like less ambulation, or to do hybrid, like within the 5-day work week, kahit 3 days face to face, 2 days sa bahay. So yun. Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of it. Last is that abroad, it's a multidisciplinary program where talagang lahat kasama, psychiatrist, physiatrist, PT, OT, speech, nutritionist, really works on the work hardening program with the OT as a lead abroad. But here, it's mostly done by PTs and OTs who actually just take it upon themselves to collaborate. Like sila mismo may initiative na, oh, ikaw mag-ano sa ambulation ha, kasi may madaming steps dun sa trabaho niya, or yung patient to may what do you call that? May elevator naman sa work niya. So ito lang yung steps niya. Tapos ikaw dun sa kamay. Okay. So I've met and worked with a lot of PTs who actually take me aside and endorse to me, like, I think this patient wants to return to work. What can you do? And I'm so blessed to work with them, and I hope sana all my experience din na ganun. So those are the three main things that differentiate the practice of other countries and the Philippines with work hardening specifically. And it shows us that we have a way to go, but we're getting there. And maybe for us Filipino therapists, it's a konti na lang push so that we can involve everyone and make everyone go back to work safely and with their self-esteem and their chin up high. So next slide, please. Those are my references. And thank you for listening to Work Hardening. Working hard, or is it hardly working? Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you, Miss
good.
Jill. Thank you so much. It is very enlightening and inspiring to know how you, as an OT, truly help people who get injured um, achieve to their prior level of function in order for them to go back to their job. Now, I think we didn't have the Zoom poll, but I believe most of our participants and attendees here today are in the workforce. So, I hope we won't get injured while working, but if we do, at least we have this kind of information that's available. I'm a practicing teacher here in the US and in a government. So I think I just can relate. I know we have workers' comp. I'm glad I haven't used it. So maybe one of their services there is work conditioning and work hardening. Okay. So again, thank you, speakers, for imparting to us your experience and sharing some knowledge about work hardening and conditioning. And especially with those who are planning to work in physical rehabilitation and use this tool or program to treat patients. Norman?
Yeah, thank you, speakers, and thank you, Miss Aubrey. Now, at this point of the webinar, let us go back and show the result of the poll that we did earlier.
Do we still have it?
There you go. Can you see it on your screen?
I'm not seeing it on mine, Norman. But it's okay as long as you can
Let me
see it.
just tell you guys that 50% of the attendees right now is from the age of 18 to 29. Wow, 50%.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then 43% is from the age group of 30 to 49. And we have 7% from the age of 70 years old and above.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then where are they located? Oh, wow, we have 73% from, guess what?
Philippines?
Of course, from the Philippines.
Yay!
And then 18% from the United States and 9% from Europe. Oh, wow, we have attendees from Europe.
Well represented, Norman.
Yeah, good to know that, you know. And for the workforce, 80% goes to occupational therapy practitioners.
Yay.
So that's good.
That's
Then
good.
10%,
That's good.
yeah, and tied at 10%, both undergrad students and graduate students.
Or probably
So
that's
there you
us,
have it.
huh?
Yeah, so there you have it. That's the result for our poll earlier. Thank you guys for participating.
Okay, so with that, we'd like to proceed to the next part of this webinar, the much awaited question and answer. Ms. Chill, Dr. Allen, are you ready to answer some of these mind-blowing questions from our audience?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, so let me see here. I think I'd like to call on Miss Samantha Rumbo. I think she has a question for our speakers today. Sam, you can unmute yourself, or tech team. You're still muted, Sam.
Sam, can you unmute?
There.
Oh, you're muted again.
Or maybe we call on the next person to ask a question. Oh, there you go. She's back.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and also good evening to everyone, especially our speakers, Dr. Allen from the US and Miss Anchilia.
Sam, sorry, you're unmuted. Muted, I mean.
Sam, you're on mute again.
Sorry, I'm on mute. It's mute. Okay. So I have a question for the speakers. My question is, usually in work hardening and work conditioning, it's mostly applied. It's more common in hospitals. It's more commonly applied in hospitals. So my question for the speakers is, how can we incorporate work hardening, either work hardening and work conditioning in community settings, like to those who have no access to equipments or even the assessment tools or the evaluation tools mentioned, how can we incorporate the work hardening and work conditioning intervention in community settings or community-based settings?
Okay. So oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Hypa. So for the thank you for the question, Ma'am Sam. For the community-based setting, it's a setting that's based to my heart. However, I'm still getting around to working around my work schedule for it. Uh, work interventions for the community-based setting could be in the form of, you know, public health seminars where it's well, first off, we have to do a needs assessment of the community. Ano yung common job among the community members, so that we have a clear idea of ano yung demands physically, functionally, behaviorally na kailangan. So second, we do seminars for public health, and that should center around energy conservation techniques and joint protection techniques and proper body mechanics, especially if it's a community na medyo physical yung ano. It can't be really specific, I suppose, yung ituturo sa community as a whole, because like I said, each patient's job is different. And what we can do is just basically do public health information dissemination for things to promote safety in the workplace.
Dr. Allen?
Okay. So that's a good point of view regarding yung in the community base. And it's nice na provide niya yung information ni Chill about how to work with the community in terms of the macro perspective. But if you're referring also into a micro perspective of a work hardening and work conditioning program, for example, ang isang magsasaka nagkaroon ng injury. And then as a community-based practitioner, since you are within the community, you can provide assessment. Ano ba yung madalas mong ginagawa bilang magsasaka? And then from there, i-analyze mo. Oh, so you need a lot of bending. For example, nagtatanim ng palay and may lower back pain yung pasyente. So kailangan mong anong gagawin mo is we have to identify kung paano natin may strengthen yung lower back para ma-minimize yung recurrence of low back pain and proper body mechanics. Turuan mo yung individual mismo na hindi yung nakatuwid yung tuhod, but i-bend mo yung tuhod mo ng konti nang sa gayon is hindi masyadong nag-pull yung likod mo. Parang ganun. So job analysis is one thing that you can consider in a micro perspective of addressing your clients sa community base. And that's an advantage kasi nandun ka sa community, nakikita mo mismo yung work environment and ano yung job demand ng ginagawa ng isang kliyente mo. I will not call them patients anymore, but rather client, because they're not really medically under sa hospital setting. So ayun, I think it's very advantageous para sa you as a ang tawag nito, community-based practitioner na nakikita mo mismo yung job demand and maa-analyze mo yung work ng isang kliyente mo. And from there, you can draw your individualized program on how you can improve yung strength niya. So basically, may nagtanong kanina, there are some components na tinitignan natin sa physical demands of work. So tinitignan mo yung lifting process, standing, walking, sitting, carrying, pushing, climbing, balancing, stooping, kneeling, crouching, crawling, reaching, handling, fingering, feeling, talking, hearing, and seeing. Those components, tinitignan mo lahat yan. And then, ano ba yung detrimental dun sa kliyente para gawin yung kanyang trabaho. And doon ka mag-focus ng iyong program.
Thank you, Dr. Allen and Ms. Jill, for answering.
Sorry.
Norman, do we have any questions from the chat box?
Okay, let's see. Can we call on who else do we have here? Or any from our participants? If you have questions, please type in your questions in the chat box.
Or raise your hand.
Yeah, raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Oh, here we have Miss Grace.
Oh, Miss.
Hi, Doc Allen and Miss Chill. I just have a question. For you kung sa hospital or if you're working in a community-based setting or if I'm puzzled if it is psych setting, for example, in the mental facility, if this is something that you are considering as well. What is the most difficult or challenging case or diagnosis that you have handled where work conditioning or work hardening was required, and how long did the patient's treatment take?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Doc.
Can I answer that? Okay. So if you're referring to challenging patients na ayaw mag-participate, first and foremost, we ask them prior to our intervention or prior to during our evaluation process or screening process. Tinatanong namin yung pasyente, are you willing to participate with the program or not? Because sometimes we don't want to waste our time doing it and then suddenly they will just, back off this program. So high motivation is highly appreciated dito sa program na to. Are they willing to go back to their work? Yun yung isang question na sinabi ko kanina. Gusto pa ba nilang bumalik sa trabaho nila or hindi na? Kasi some people, sometimes dito sa Amerika, makakakuha ako ng ang tawag nito, yung disability benefits. So mas gugustuhin ko na lang na hindi na makabalik sa trabaho. I-claim ko na lang yung aking disability and then I will not participate with the program. So those things that you have to consider, willingness to participate and willingness to return to work. And then also, does the company will provide and support the employee or not? Kasi yun yung mga challenges natin as a therapist. Because even if, or yung insurance, kino-cover ba nila yung kanyang program? Kasi dito sa Amerika, it's insurance driven. And kapag hindi kinover yan ng insurance, willing ba yung pasyente na magbayad out of pocket dun sa program na gagawin natin? So those are the things that you have to consider. In the Philippines, willing ba yung company na i-support yung pasyente? And then sa atin wala kasi tayong disability benefits. I don't know if that's part of the workforce agreement nowadays in the Philippines. But if it's not, then I mean, kapag may sakit ka, na balda ka, or disabled ka, we call it, nasa sa'yo kung kaya mong bumalik sa trabaho or hindi, mag-retire ka, mag-resign ka. Those things, yung mga factors. So, mga socioeconomic and cultural differences might be something to consider. Kasi sa Philippines, when I was working with Chevron Philippines, very proactive sila in terms of ergonomics program. So prior to magsimula yung pasyente, yung mga employees nila to work dun sa kanilang workstation, I do assessment already on how to set up the workstation for that individual or for that particular employee na nakaset up anthropometrically dun sa kanyang katawan, and isiniset up namin yung workstation niya or computer table niya para hindi magkaroon ng problema. Now, kapag nagkaroon ng problema, yung company, pinapadala sila for therapy services. So yun yung doon ang kinaganda ng mga kumpanyang ganon, proactive, and they support their clients para ma-maintain nila yung mga employees nila. Kasi ang tinitignan ng employee kapag binibenta mo kasi ang ergonomics program, sabi mo sa kanila, kapag hindi mo pinagaling itong employee to, kukuha ka na naman ng bago, ititrain mo na naman, mas maraming nawawalang ang tawag ito, yung productivity time of hiring a new employee and training them again. And if this is happening over and over sa isang company, maraming nawawalang kwan sa kanila. Yun, yung kanilang productivity, output ng kanilang kumpanya, at maraming claims. So those things tinitingnan natin, and that's how we can market our profession as an occupational therapist, is we are into the preventive practice of healthcare, that we can prevent injuries to happen in their workplace para ma-minimize yung turnover ng employees and claims for healthcare services later on. So yun yung mga tinitingnan natin na babalansehin natin. So kaya nga pinakamahirap kapag walang support ang kumpanya at hindi willing yung pasyente to undergo the program.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay.
Thanks, Doc Allen.
Sana nasagot ko yung tanong.
Sagot na sagot ho, Doc. And yeah, it does make sense. If a patient or client is not cooperative with the treatment, there's no point in doing it in the first place. We're just both wasting our time, right? Okay, so for our next question, I think Jan Monsanto has a question for our speakers. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Jan.
Hello, Doc and Ms. Chill. So my question is, how do you address psychological factors that may impact a patient's ability to return to work? Again, how do you address psychological factors that may impact a patient's ability to return to work?
Okay. So most common na na-encounter ko sa clinic before when I was working an outpatient, ang fear of pain and fear of getting re-injured, and also fear of losing their job. So those three, dapat titignan mo siya. And magkakaroon ka ngayon ng idea, okay, may fear of pain. That's why nagkakaroon ng guarding. Ayaw niyang gumalaw, ayaw niyang igalaw yung kamay niya, ayaw niyang magbuhat. And that results from the conditioning. Hindi na siya, dahil sa guarding, hindi niya ginagamit yung body part niyang masakit, naging weak. So sasabihin mo, explain it to him that movement is one way for you to treat your pain. And by doing things, resuming your typical activities, that will enhance your strength and eliminate or minimize your pain later on. So some words of encouragement and reassurance, and providing them the basic knowledge about how yung movement can intervene pain. Another thing is that yung sinasabi ko nga na takot silang mawala ng trabaho. Ngayon, gusto mo ba talagang bumalik ng trabaho mo? Kasi nakasalalay doon ang buong pamilya mo. Kung gusto mo makabalik at matulungan ng pamilya mo uli, kailangan ko yung cooperation mo. Kailangan kong maging devoted ka sa programa natin nang sa gayon matapos mo ito at makabalik ka sa trabaho. And also, relating some of your previous experiences with your clients might help. Sabi mo, may isang pasyenteng ganito, giving them some stories about success stories that will motivate them. Kasi kailangan nila ng guidance, kasi feeling nila, ay wala na, hindi ko na kayang gumawa. But there's always, sabihin mo, sa isang problema, bilang occupational therapist, we find ways and solutions for your problem. So those are the things. And then, on a daily basis, ipakita mo how are they progressing. See, tignan mo to. Dati hindi mo ma-grip or hindi mo mahawakan. Ngayon, nakakabuhat ka na ng 10 pounds. Baka bukas 20 pounds. Sa susunod na araw, 30 pounds. Pagtapos na ito, nakaka 50 pounds ka na. So those are the things. mamomotivate mo sila by providing them how are they progressing on a daily basis or on a regular session ninyo. Pakita mo, i-highlight mo lagi yung kanilang success, yung kanilang nagagawa. And in that way, you're boosting their morale.
Oh, thank you, Doc. Miss Chill, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, but I think it's really good that Doc Allen brought up how to motivate them, because really usually acute or chronic situations, conditions, it's most often or more often associated with or accompanied by feelings of depression or feeling like low self-esteem. And yeah, this is really a hindrance to getting back to work, where you have to be your own individual functioning self. And we usually provide activities where yung kayang-kaya nila. We really gradate. We put a premium on gradating the activities right to their skill level. And when they see that they can do it, like what Doc Allen said, they're motivated. In addition to that, yung in connection with the other question, the difficulty I had with is more of like not more of like if they wanted to be part of the program, is if they felt like gusto pa nila i-aim for the 100% full heavy work, when as an OT, as discussed with the physiatrist and the other healthcare professionals, parang kailangan i-grade down, or kailangan we have to talk to the employer na baka yung light work lang talaga, or reassigned to admin work from a very heavy workload or very physical workload that the patient was in or involved in prior to the injury. And they feel like our clients, when they're told na hanggang dito na lang sila or hanggang etong work level lang sila, they really get distraught. They really feel like, kasi it's like it or not, it's really tied to income, which is very important to our patients. So they feel like I can do more. So what we do is we really go on heavy like patient caregiver education. We refer them to counseling, to psych, if need be, and we involve them. We, aside from like telling them success stories, we sometimes, when the situation arises, we try to do it in groups or activities, so that may kasama sila, may kasama sila sa journey on going back to work, and they have someone to talk to that isn't just a therapist, so who might be a source of another stress. So yeah, that's how we address psychological factors such as depression that impact their ability to return to work confidently.
Thank you, Miss Chill.
All
John,
right, thank you, Ms. Chill.
yeah. John, did our guest speakers answer your questions?
Thank you, Ms. Chill and Doc, for answering my question.
Okay, now we do have a lot of questions for you. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time. So if it's okay with you, Dr. Allen and Miss Chill, maybe we can just shoot you an email and ask these questions, and then we'll just share it with the rest of our audience today. Okay, Norman?
Can I
Okay,
just
guys,
next?
yep.
Can I just get
Thank
a
you.
brief-
Thank you, speakers, for answering all the questions. Okay. It's really enlightening and very informative. So,
Yeah,
okay, guys, it's screening time again.
Norman,
Okay.
I think Dr. Allen has something to say.
Somebody
Yes.
asked me about is there a certification course for this? Yes. And
Oh.
yeah, there's an online course that you can take, and there's also in person for you to be able to enhance your skills in terms of FCE, return to work conditioning certification course. I'm not plugging any company, but there are some companies offering online courses for that. So if you want to really enhance your skills, then yeah, you can do this as a continuing education or certification course for you to be able to understand more about how we work with work conditioning and return to work program.
All right. Thank you, Doc Allen, for that heads up. Okay, guys, it's winning time again. We are going to play the word wall quiz show. Let me give you
Okay.
the mechanics of the game.
Go ahead,
Okay, we
Norman.
will display one question at a time with multiple answers options on the screen. You as a player will then select an answer from the options provided by typing in the letter, only the letter of your choice. You have 20 seconds to answer the question. As your quiz host, we will then reveal the correct answer. The first person to type in the correct letter in the chat box will win a prize. Each question is worth 500 pesos via GCash if you're from the Philippines. If you're from the United States, you will win $10 via Venmo. And to make things more interesting, there will be a bonus question. It may pop up randomly or maybe in the last question, so stick around, okay? If you get to answer the question right, you will win 800 pesos via GCash. And if you're from the, that's from the Philippines. And if you're from the United States, you will win $25 via Venmo. Okay, let's play the game. Everybody wants to win the prize.
Wow.
They heard the 500.
I think they're pretty listening to us, Norman.
Yes,
I
they are.
see Bettina Claire Abritos was the first
So
one.
guys, whoever answers the question correctly wins the prize. All right.
All right.
Correct
B
answer
is
is
the correct
B.
answer. So do we have a winner? Who's our winner?
Okay, we'll announce it later. So let's proceed to question number 2.
This is about our speakers for today.
Yes. It's a tricky question.
I thought it was a treat.
Uh-huh. Okay. What's the answer? It's letter C.
Letter C.
Okay. Question number 3. Get ready. It's another trick question, actually.
So batch 26, whoever is in charge, please let us know who wins on the first question, second, third, fourth, and the bonus question. Right, the correct answer is
B.
letter B.
Oh, here's the bonus round. The bonus question. For 800 pesos or $25. Get ready. Ooh. It's exciting. And the answer is
Letter D. Norman, I have to correct you. That's not the bonus question. I think that's the fourth question. We have one more question left.
Oh,
and
okay. I'm so
that is
sorry.
the bonus question.
My bad.
It's okay.
Okay, that's letter B. Okay. Thank you for participating in our quiz game. All right. Who's our first winner?
I'm still waiting for the
For the
tally sheet,
result?
Norman.
Same here. I'm waiting for the result.
So I think for the first question, we have Bettina Claire Abrigos for our winner.
Ooh. Congratulations, Miss Bettina Claire Abrigos.
If you are from the Philippines, so please make sure to provide your email. If you're from the US, if you have a Venmo account, or probably an email too.
Email or a phone number.
An email or a phone number. Then for our second question, we have K. Ramos. And did you receive the list, Mr. Norman?
I did.
Who's our third winner?
Our third winner is Janielle. I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but it's Janielle Santos.
Congratulations, Janielle.
And for our fourth winner is Miss Melisa Rivas.
Congratulations. So I hope you guys enjoy
Congratulations.
your 500 pesos or your...
Okay. And for the bonus round, the winner is for 800 pesos or $25. Mr. Norman Fernandez. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
I thought it's Miss Aubrey, but it's
Technical
Hanatiu?
committee. Did anyone answer the last question?
That's my same question. Did anybody get our bonus question?
It's Emma.
Just
Anyone?
Emma?
Yeah, her name is
Okay.
Emma.
All right. So congratulations, Emma. So you are our $800. Oh, no, 800
Pesos.
800 pesos winner for today's quiz show. So thank you all for being here with us today. So what's the next part of our webinar, Norman?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for participating to our game. And we would like to call on Miss Samantha Rombo, our batch representative for this semester, to award the speaker certificate of appreciation. Miss Sam?
Hello. Please show the next slide, please. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening to all of our participants and speaker from the US. I would like to award this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Alan Ramundo Espelita for imparting his knowledge to all participants of the face-to-face seminar, Work Smarter, Not Harder, Understanding Work Conditioning and Work Hardening in OT, given on this 19th day of March 2023, signed by our MAOT Program Director, Ms. Bea Katrina Maximo Andrino, and yours truly, Batch 26 Representative Samantha Rombo. Thank you very much, Dr. Alan Ramundo Espelita.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Romero po.
Okay.
Next, certificate of appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Ms. Anchilia Raimundo Diamante for imparting her knowledge to all participants of the face-to-face seminar, Work Smarter, Not Harder, Understanding Work Conditioning and Work Hardening in OT, given this 19th of March 2023, signed by our MAOT Program Director, Ms. Bea Katrina Maximo Andrino, and yours truly, Batch 26 Representative Samantha Rombo. Thank you very much, Ms. Anchilia Raymond Diamante.
Okay. For a closing remark, Miss Sam?
So thank you. I'd like to thank first the speakers to Mr. Ryan Espelita. Thank you, Mr. Alan, for gracing us with your presence. It was very informative. Thank you also, Miss Chill, for gracing us with your presence. I know you guys are very busy, especially to Mr. Alan. It's 10 p.m. in the United States. Sa time nyo po, thank you very much. And also to Miss Chill, we're very, very lucky that you gave us your time, and also you gave us a lot of information, especially work hardening and work conditioning, since it's not common in the Philippines. Even during our college days, it wasn't discussed as briefly. So we thank you, the speakers, and also to our sponsors who made this program possible, especially the prizes. That's because of the sponsors. So thank you so much to our gold, platinum, silver sponsors, and also our X deals. And I would also like to thank our batch 26 host, Sir Norman and Miss Aubrey, also to the tech team, Don and Julian, and also to our other batch 26 batchmates who are here with us today. And also, I'd like to thank our participants, all, I think 60 or 57 to 60 participants who attended our webinar. Thank you so much, guys, for attending our webinar. I know you could do a lot of things on a Sunday afternoon, but you chose our webinar. So thank you, guys. Thank you again, Sir Alan and Miss Chill. Thank you so much. Thank you to our sponsors, our hosts. Thank you to our participants, and hope you have a great Sunday. Thank you, guys. Good evening and good afternoon again.
All right, thank you, Sam, our batch representative. So for you guys, we would like you to do a survey, okay? Please let us know how well do you think we did on our presentation today. We'd sincerely appreciate your kind feedback. And also, before you go, a gentle reminder, a recording of this webinar will be available for all attendees today, as well as for those who couldn't make it. You may find it on Facebook at CDU MAOT or on our YouTube channel, Spotlight on Air. Also, please visit the Facebook page for future updates and webinars to come. Feel free to reach out to us by sending us your comments. We will do our best to answer them in a timely manner. We are grateful for this opportunity and hope that you learned something new from this webinar. Aubrey?
Thank you, Norman. And promise, we're almost done here, but I don't want to end this webinar without hearing some inspiring parting words from our wonderful speakers tonight, Norman. So I'd like to
Of
call
course.
on Miss Anchila first and then Dr. Allen. Go ahead, Miss Chill.
Hello, hi. Thank you so much for to this batch 26 of CDU MAOT students and colleagues, and thank you for having me as a speaker. It was such a actually natuto din ako dito, and I mean once in a lifetime talaga to be a speaker along with Dr. Allen. Like I would bow, but I'm seated right now. Thank you so much. It's been enriching as a speaker and as a OT na parang it inspired me to push a lot, to push maybe in the future na to make work hardening actually a program and not just na seeing it na orders sessions. And to our participants here who are a mix of OT colleagues, other professionals, teachers, and hi interns. I hope you find it in yourself to really work with our clients, to really work with them and help them achieve their goals, and be a mabuting OT or a mabuting teacher, and really just it all stems from compassion, and we all just want to get back to our work, and so do they. And for those who are not yet who are still studying, I hope you to take this time to consider being in adult FISDIS. We need more of you. Madami na pong pedia, but nothing against pedia OTs. Madami na po kayo. We need more of you in our hospitals, in our clinics. Your patients are waiting. They're just right there. Okay. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chill. Doc Allen?
All right. I would like to thank the whole community who sponsored this program and the whole MAOT students who invited me to be part of this webinar. Parting words, as an OT, you should be an advocate for your profession by providing information to your clients, what you do and what you can do for the betterment of your patients and the community. This might be an emerging practice in occupational therapy in the Philippines, but if you advocate for more practitioners to be involved, mapapalago nyo yung practice sa Pilipinas. It's a matter of, initiating, advocating, and educating yung stakeholders, even the doctors. Sometimes the doctors doesn't even know, kailan ko ba i-refer to sa OT? Ano bang pwedeng gawin ng mga OTs? Kasi dati sa Pilipinas, when I was working in there, kaya very limited ang nagpo-practice sa FISDIS because it's always driven by the physicians na eto ang gagawin mo. But somehow, mas marami pa tayong magagawa beyond dun sa understanding ng mga physician. That's why we need to educate our physicians. Just like when I was doing my practice here dito sa US, when I started working in acute care setting, they don't even know OTs can be part of the OR. So I started initiating and educating some of our surgeons that, Doc, can I join you during surgery with this patient so I can, improve this area? Because I'm working in the burn unit right now and I have seen a lot of contractures. So during surgery, you can prevent all these contractures or you can maximize yung range of motion nila if fully sedated sila or under anesthesia. So I can range them up without pain. So from there, nagkaroon sila ng idea. Same thing din sa mga physiatrists natin. Or it's not particularly physiatrists because OTs are not just bounded with the physiatrist's direction. We can work with any physicians. It's a matter of identifying who are those physicians that you can work with and provide them education. Okay, because that's the only way you can link and improve and provide more areas of practice of our profession. It's a matter of advocacy, sinasabi nga natin. And don't think within the box, think outside the box. Wag lang yung, okay, OT, cone stacking tayo. No. Do something. We are occupation-based driven profession. So if you geared your intervention towards occupation-based, patients will appreciate. Patients will identify that you are totally different from physical therapists using exercises, but you're using activities to resume their normal day-to-day life. Sabi nga natin, ang clinic natin, it's not always yung mga weights, but identify ano pang pwede nilang gawin. Anong pwede nyong gamitin. Lalo na sa Pilipinas, ibang community-based program natin compared sa US. So gamitin ninyo yung environment. Use the PEOP model. Kasi mas ma-integrate nyo yung intervention nyo doon. Makikita ng pasyente, ito palang ginagawa ng OT. Ito pala yung trabaho ko. At before you start in any intervention, tell your role to your patients, to your clients, to any stakeholders, my job is this, so that they will identify you right away. And use the term occupational therapy and not just OT, especially kung hindi kayo kilala, para ma-define ninyo kung sino kayo sa profession ay sa komunidad at anong nagagawa nyo bilang profession. Okay.
All right. So thank you so much, Dr. Allen and Miss Chill, for your very encouraging words. And again, to our attendees and participants for today, please don't forget to click the Google Forms link in the chat box. That's a survey on how we did with this webinar. And how we can further improve this webinar for next semester. So recordings for program 1, 2, and 3 are now available on YouTube. Please search for Spotlight on Air CDU MAOT's YouTube channel. We are also inviting you to join us on the second phase of CDU MAOT Spotlight S6. And that ends our webinar. Thank you, everyone. I
Thank you,
hope you all
everyone.
stay healthy, stay engaged, and live well. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you all very much, and stay blessed. Good morning, US, and good afternoon, Philippines. Enjoy your
Yay.
Sunday.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Where's the music?
Where's our music? Well, I think the tech team has been kicked out from the from the cafe. What do you
Yeah.
think, Norman?
I told him to buy another cup of coffee. Oh no, but the coffee shop
Thanks,
is closed.
Donna, for gracing. Who else is here? And to Miss Chill's interns, thank you so much.
Yeah. To all attendees, thank you so much for spending your time with us. To Miss Diane, hi.
Miss Diane, thank you. All right. I don't know what happened to our music. There's no music. Okay.
Oh. Our attendees is still, they want to stay.
Part 2 daw.